Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to put together your cork wreath. So there's a number of different ways you can do it. You could use a foam wreath, you can use a straw wreath, you can create your own. There's a number of different things you can do. I did do a beginning video that is also listed on my blog post and my YouTube channel. That will tell you exactly what you need and gives you directions on how to get set up. I will be sure to put the link in my blog post for this one so that you can go back and look at the beginning too if you wish. At any rate, it's really an easy process and a very simple project and great to give to friends. However, it is time consuming. So as far as hard, it's not. Time consuming a little bit. I am going to go from beginning to end and show you how to create a cork wreath, but I'm going to not make it the hour long that it'll probably be, so I'll make it fast and slow so I can give you some tips and tricks and things like that, but I want you to see the whole process so you can see that it is doable. It just takes a little bit of time and patience. So at any rate, this is one of the cork wreaths I made, and you can look here, there's all different kinds of corks and there's kind of no rhyme or reason. And then there is another wreath that I did as well, and I'm going to show you that. And it's right here, okay? So this right here is really a good example of a base you could use, or you could just leave it like this. I would probably fill in a few of the emptier spaces. This isn't necessarily completed, but it is a cute wreath that you could give as a gift if they like them this way, and add a little bow, etc., etc. So what I am going to show you is a different way to put all of your corks on the top. You can do it this way and make sure that you try to line them up properly, or I'm gonna show you the other way that I chose to do it. There's a few different ways you can do that too. It just really is personal preference. I'm going to do the second way because I think that is actually more time effective, but really it has the basic same look because you will be covering this up with a few different ones so that you can get a little mishmash look to it, because I think it looks personally better that way. But if you like it this way, you'll make sure that you line up the corks much better. You'll make sure you're a little bit more of a perfectionist, because I had no intention of leaving it this way. I planned on putting corks and kind of making a little mishmash when I'm done with this. Okay, so make sure that you put the bottom of your wreath on the bottom. There is a flatter side and then a rounder side, so you want to make sure you do that. The actual wreath I'm doing is a much larger one. It's really more for a door. The example I have here is smaller, so I'm going to show you in a minute what the wreath is, and it's probably about, I'd say 18 to 20 inches wide. Yeah, about 18 to 20 inches. This is probably more about 15 inches or so, okay? So I'm going to get started. Make sure that you look at the old, the other video that I did previously, so that you know you need to put your wire on it before you start, because you don't want to try to do that afterwards. You may ruin your decoration, okay? So with that, I am going to bring in my brand new wreath that has not been done. Notice I have the wire completed already. We've put it on the back side, which is the flatter side, and we're just going to be leaving that on the side so that we can, whoever we give this to, they will have a place to hang it and use this as a hanger, or they can wind it up and just use a small portion of it, but better to have it too long than too short. Okay, so that's what I did there. So what we're going to do is we need our glue gun here. And as you can see, you want to make sure that the work surface that you use, you're not worried about making it a mess, either right here or on the floor, because this the straw stuff does tend to break off a little bit, so you will make a mess underneath you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you first what I have to do, because I've learned from the hard way. I burnt myself super duper bad right here. Can you see that? Okay. And I'm trying to see if I have my other burn. I think it's healed. I believe it was on this finger. If you've ever used hot glue guns, you know you're going to burn yourself. But fortunately, my friends Kathy and Steve have hot glue gun helpers, and they're awesome. They have one that's a little bit larger and one that's a little bit smaller. One's for your pointer finger, which I'm going to cover up my cute little pointer finger right there, so that's done. And then on this side, I'm going to cover up my thumb. No, actually, I think I'm going to use it right here. It's a little bit bigger, so it's really probably more for a thumb. but I'm going to use it here because I don't usually often use my thumbs. I often use my fingers and end up getting glue, hot glue on that. I do have 2 pair, but I decided to show you just with 1 pair how these work. You put hot glue on them, they come right off. It's super easy. The mat comes with it, and as well as the awesome non-stick tweezers. You have the really super duper cute pointed paddle, and then of course you have your awesome, your awesome press wand that is perfect for little areas that you need to use, okay? So I'm just gonna put these away. So what you need for this project, like I said, more details on the blog, my previous post and my previous video. I'm just gonna grab a few of my corks and get started. And please feel free to ask me any question. I really appreciate all the input and the comments. I appreciate you coming to visit me, and I really, really, really appreciate the feedback and all of your projects that you create and how I've inspired you, and I can't even tell you how much you guys have inspired me. So, with that, I am going to put a little bit more of our corks right here, and we're going to get started. So I'm going to start with this area here. And what I'm going to do simply is just place a bunch of hot glue here. Now remember, you don't want to do too much or else the hot glue will dry, especially since I am underneath an air conditioning vent, which is my favorite place to be. But you want to make sure that you don't do too far from that, or else you're going to end up having it dry and have to re-glue it, okay? So you can make it all perfect like that and have them all match up, or you can make a mishmash, which is kind of how I like to roll. So I'm going to make them a little bit different, okay? So all I'm doing is I'm taking our corks right here and I'm lining them up and trying to get them about as neat and even as possible. You can use a bunch of different corks if you wish. You can use a bunch of different brands, a bunch of different kinds. The one thing that I love about this process is that it is super duper easy to create, and it's really neat because you may get some corks, like right here, looks like it might have had some red wine, so it's got a little bit of different color and it's a little bit darker. You might have something that's this right here that's really clean and a very lighter color, a much lighter color, excuse me. And so it's really neat for the creation that it's not perfect. So I really enjoy it, okay? So we're gonna just put this right here, turn that this way, just a little bit, okay. And then we're gonna start from here. Okay, let's make sure, oh, that one did not stick very well. The other thing I wanted to let you know and make sure, it's very important, this has some plastic twine or clear twine on it. Make sure you do not take this apart. This is what holds the wreath together. That could be a very, very big problem if you take it apart, because what will end up happening is you will have not a wreath, but a whole big pile of hay, and the hay will not really do very well for you. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience. I undid one of them by accident. I'm like, ah! Everything started falling apart. I couldn't figure out what happened. So, trying to save you some time there. So, it comes with a wrapper that's plastic wrap, kind of, and then you take that off carefully, making sure you don't take off any of the twine or the plastic, like fishing line kind of thing. Okay. All right. And you will need quite a bit of hot glue to get this project done. It does take quite a bit, and you're better off having a little bit too much hot glue than not enough, because you'd hate for the project to fall apart once you've got it done. So you want to press these down, make sure that they're in the glue, try to make sure they're as even as possible. It's It's not going to be perfect because the wreath isn't perfect, but it's best to try to get it down in there as much as you can. And if it doesn't seem like it's sticking, you want to press it in there so that way it kind of gets the hot glue into the wreath as well as onto the cork really well, okay? Now I'm kind of doing like a pattern of like up and down like that, kind of like mountains, so that it covers both sides of the cork, because you never know if it's going to have a higher part on your wreath. So you want to make sure that you push it down in there and make sure that you have enough space for that and that it's adhering properly, okay? Now, to make it easier for myself, I do have the same type of corks that I'm going to be placing all the way around the top. It really isn't for design purposes as much as it is for ease of putting it together. If you don't have that luxury and have plenty to do that with, that's okay. Just do the best you can and try to match up about the same size, and then you can fill in any other sizes along the way. Okay? I'm not going to use this one because this is actually a little bit bigger, but I'll show you in a minute how this the hot glue will actually come off pretty easily from the cork if you realize that you've put it on the wrong one. You want to make sure you let it dry. Okay, now I gotta find the one I put on the wrong glue. It's somewhere around here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So you see this right here, this cork? This cork, you just basically peel it and it'll come right off. So it's not a problem. Most of the corks are like that. So you can just peel it off if you happen to put the glue on the wrong one, or you decide you don't want it. That's why it's important that you really push down hard and make sure that you've got the adhesive on there and plenty of it, so that you don't have a situation where your corks fall off once you give this as a gift or you hang it up. Okay? Okay, as you can see right here, this one came undone, so I'm going to do it again. I'm not sure why. It looks like there may not have been enough glue on both sides, but usually I put a pretty good bead on there to make sure that it's going to be okay. So I'm going to Make sure it's got some other places to adhere. And I'm going to put a little bit extra under this one, just in case. Okay. Okay, we got two here that don't want to adhere as well. Better to find out now, right? Put another glue stick in. There, okay. Here are these. Like so. Okay. And then you can always add a little bit of glue underneath if you think that it needs a little bit, like right here. This one's lifting up a little bit. There. Okay, and you push this down just a little bit more. There we go. And then this one right here, same thing. Just a little sneak peek there. Little snippet of glue. There we go. And that works. Everything else looks good. Just hold this one down a little bit longer so it can dry. And I think we're good. So you just want to, oops, this one's a little bit loose. Kind of go through and see if there's any of the other ones like that. You don't have to do it super hard. This one is definitely loose, so we're going to redo this one. Better to be safe than sorry. I'm going to do it directly onto the cork. This may help with it adhering better. Okay. So I'm just going to put that right down there. Oops. Okay, right here. That looks good. Okay, so that looks really good. So you can see it. See that? Okay. And I'll have pictures on my blog so you can see what the full project looks like. It's hard to do this from a video, especially if you want to get close-up shots. It makes it difficult, and I wanted to make sure that you guys were able to see exactly how I did this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put another layer on, okay? And we're going to start by going, whoopsie, we're going to just go like this all the way along, okay? Just like that. So with that, and it doesn't matter what size you use for this, because you're going to put it all the way along and it'll just match up. Okay. So you can use some of the longer ones if you wish, or you can do some of the shorter ones, just so they're lined up. Okay. There we go. We'll add some more along here. This right here, and then this right here. And once you have the glue down, it's pretty quick. It's not too hard, especially with this set on this way. It makes it much easier. And however you feel most comfortable gluing it, okay? Use this cutie right here. And again, it's not going to be perfect. You can really rack your brain trying to make it perfect, and it won't be, and it'll be really frustrating. The other thing I suggest is I took a few of the corks and I cut them. I cut them in half because you're going to have a situation possibly that you need just a half of a cork and not a full cork. So I made a few of these just so I could have them for demonstration purposes and in case I need them while I'm creating, okay? And here I'll just give you a little close-up of, those are just close-up corks that I cut just so if we need a little half space we have them ready, okay? Okay. So let's turn this here and we'll continue on. Okay, so now you can see that we've done this layer, okay? Now I'm going to turn it upside down and I'm going to put it and do all the inside here. And it's much easier to do it upside down the other way, and it's because the gravity actually helps, and then you can rest the corks on top of themselves, okay? So it's like this, as you can see. So then we're just going to put some corks in like this. You want to make sure that you do not put the corks above this area because this area is the flat surface that your project is going to be laying on. So whatever the surface is that the person puts it on, that you give it to, or your own door yourself, you're going to want to make sure that it doesn't poke up. Otherwise, it won't lay flat and it'll be kind of bumpy. So you want to make sure it does not exceed the height of this, okay? As you can see, these two fell off, so I'm going to replace those. It's going to happen, especially when you have hot glue and sometimes the cork doesn't really have some good texture to grab onto. It's kind of slick. Or sometimes the cork, like for example, these right here, although cork, they do tend to like not melt a little bit, but the material tends to grab a lot easier. So if you feel like this area here, like I do, that this isn't really adhering, just hold on to it and make sure you press down really well so that you can make sure that it adheres this time, okay? think that's good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the outside, okay? So with the outside, we're going to also put them along this way. All right, so we're just going to put a bunch of these like so. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is I'll take, this is a different way to put on the corks. You can just take a line, put some hot glue on it, and then you just place it right on the side here, and I'll give you a little close-up shot so you can see exactly what that looks like, okay? Put the glue gun down, lift this cutie up, and you can see what it looks like, okay? So that's what we're doing. Now on the sides, it doesn't have to be the exact same size. Any of it really doesn't need to be, because like I said before, I'm planning to cover it up so it won't matter. But I'm trying to make the top up layered as much as I can so that it does at least hit here, so that I can just cover and do whatever I want, but it still looks very nice and clean. Okay. Now you may not have noticed here where I had put all the corks here and then I laid it down. Some of these came undone. So unfortunately I'm going to have to do them again, but I did want to let you know that sometimes it's really difficult to get these cuties in there. So I'm going to do it the other way and show you. But let me finish this part off, okay? Just make sure that when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you touch all of the corks and just gently touch them. Don't push on them too hard, just to make sure they're adhered, like this. And if you see one moving, I just barely touch it. If you see one moving, then you want to make sure that you glue it again, because it happens. Sometimes these cute little corks don't feel like sticking, and sometimes they do. Like I said, I like to do my videos real time so that you can learn, because sometimes there's going to be situations where it actually, I make a mistake and I learn from it so that I know not to do it again, because sometimes you got to do these a couple times to figure out the best way to do it. Boy, a lot of these are coming off. Doesn't look like I put enough glue in there. I think that's the problem we have. We just have a short little strip here, and so I'm going to need to do it again. More than likely what I'll do is I will put it on like I am right now, just a strip like this. On the top part, because gravity is on our side, it's not as difficult because you have this area here. Whoops. As I say, gravity's on our side and then it starts to fall. You gotta love that, right? Gravity's on our side because you end up being able to have the glue on top of there and then it's all set. If you have it so that it's underneath or on top of something, that way you have no worries about it falling through. Whereas on this case, there's nothing underneath this here that I'm like trying to put on right here. There's nothing underneath that, so it'll slide right down if it's not stuck. Okay, just like these. Okay, last but not least, this one goes right here. And we are all set. So we did the outside already, okay? You should be able to see that, get the basic idea, okay? And then we're gonna add these cuties back on because they're not really sticking very well. So I have a feeling I just didn't use enough glue. So maybe what I'll do is just see what other ones, these basically look like they're glued pretty well. This one is not. This one's pretty good. So I'm just going to adhere this one like this and stick it back on there. Okay, and then this one isn't. Oops, it is a little bit, but not all the way. So we'll adhere this. Okay, put that right there. And if you've ever worked with hot glue, you know that there's lots of hot glue strings. It's just what's happening. So I don't even clean it up while I'm doing it, because if I do, I'm just going to get frustrated because it's just going to happen again. So what I do is once it's dry, it's much easier to take off all your little strings and clean up your project. So that's what I do at the end after I'm completely done with it, before I start to put like a bow on it or anything like that. Okay? And then we have this. Now that should stick much better. And then we have, oh look, I have my own little hot glue ball that's stuck on my finger. Like I said, if you do not like messes, this is not a job for you. It is fun, I do like it, and I love the results. I think it comes out really neat. And what a great gift for a friend, or to decorate your holiday door. You can put holiday ribbon on it just to change it up a bit if you're a wine drinker. I know that it's a lot of fun for people that are wine drinkers. They like to decorate their house with various wine-themed items, and this is really a cute one. Okay. I'm gonna put this right here. And then this, there we go, this right here. And we only have a few more left to finish this part. So that means we have the top done, and the sides, and the inside. So that's, you basically want just a spattering of the corks so that it's all set and ready to go. And then that's when the decoration process starts, okay? So with that, I'm gonna run my fingers through here to make sure none of them are loose, like I said before. Make sure these are all okay. You just barely touch them, because if they're loose, they're gonna come pretty much right off, okay? It looks pretty good right now. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to show you what I do so that I can kind of get a little bit of different looks and things like that. So I'm gonna take a whole bunch of different corks. Okay, and I did put aside some of the more colorful ones here, so I'll just dump these in, okay? Okay. So now is the fun part. So now I just take these and I just sporadically glue them on for decoration. They don't have to have any rhyme or reason. Whoops. It would be nice if they stuck though. Okay, there we go. And again, if it doesn't stick, you just re-glue it, no problem. Okay, sometimes they'll stick great and sometimes they won't, and that's okay. I'll put one right here. I love how there's different colors and just different things here, so there's all different patterns and there's no real right or wrong. but I'm really excited for you to see the finished product. Okay. Now you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of space right here at the top, right here. It doesn't have to be a lot of space, but just a little bit of space so that you can put a bow right on here. I'll be showing that to you next week. Just different ways you could decorate your wreath and different ways that people care to have their wreaths decorated. If you're going to give a gift, sometimes people like berries, some people just like bows. I'm just going to go and show you a few different types of bows you can do, and then you can just use your unbelievably awesome creativity and add to that, okay? Now this is a really cool wreath. I believe it might be a champagne wreath, but I'm sorry, a cork. It might be a champagne cork, I'm not sure, but I just love it. I think it's really neat, so I'm gonna make sure I put it in there, okay? Can you see that? Pretty cool, huh? Not even sure how I'm gonna use it. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll just put it right here. I think I'm gonna put it right there. So you need to really only glue the parts that are gonna be touching. So like this. Okay, and then I'm going to put another cork right there. I think I will use this one. So that looks good. And sometimes the bigger the cork, the more space it takes up, as I'm sure you could imagine already. And like I said, it looks kind of like a mishmash of a whole bunch of different corks, and that's what I want it to look like. I don't want it to have necessarily a certain theme, because I think when you make it too themey, it almost doesn't look genuine. It looks like it's manufactured and, you know, mass-produced, not handmade. So sometimes being a perfectionist is good. In this case, I don't think it is. But again, that's my opinion. Not everybody feels that way, and that's okay, because with art, there is no right or wrong. It's basically just whatever you feel moved to do, and it's perfect just the way you make it. I'm going to use one of the larger corks right here to fill up this space like that. Okay. And then, let's see. Right now I'm just kind of adding some off and on in different places, you know, trying to figure out what the best place would be to add some for a little bit of volume. And I think I'm going to add one right here, like that. And then right here, there. And if you're not sure if it's going to stick, just do this, and you just put a little bit of the hot glue and it'll work out perfect, okay? So I'm going to turn it around a little bit more. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that you get a good spattering of different corks in different places. gonna put one right here because I think that's a good place for it. And then maybe put one right here because I think that's a good place for it. I like to have some laying down, some standing up, some large, some small. The bottom ones that are like the main base of the wreath, I typically will have those similar in size and similar in style because it makes it a little bit more even. Okay. And like I said, I'm not really trying to clean some of these strings up, but when they're right there and they're attached to my finger, I kind of feel compelled that I should. So that's what I'm doing right here. If you see me kind of lifting up some pieces, I'm lifting up a few of the strings. As you can see here, there's a number of strings hanging off here. So I would be so busy trying to get all these off and trying to get that done, I'd never get my project done. And I know you understand that because sometimes we get in our own way when we're creating, you know? And we are just about done. I'm sure after I do this video I might do a few little touch-ups here and there that I can't really see in the video, but I think it really has come out great. So be sure to make sure, really? That's a new kind of language I guess I'm talking today, and it's, my kids often call it Melissa-isms, because I make up words and sometimes the words come out of my mouth, I mean something completely different. So it's entertaining for sure, but sometimes frustrating for those that are trying to understand what I'm saying, which, you know, hopefully is often enough that people are trying to pay attention and know what I'm saying, so it's kind of funny. So I like that. And I'm just going to use up these corks that are down here already. So we're almost done. And I think I'm just going to put a few on the edges here. And I think I'm good. I think if I add any more, I think it'll be too many, truthfully. So let's see, I'll just add another one right there. And then there's one right there. I think we are good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hot glue gun aside and rest it comfortably on my other mat. I'm going to put my corks away, and then I can give you a better look at the wreath and what it looks like. Again, I will be taking some pictures, better pictures of the actual wreath, so you can see how I did this and what it looks like, the final product. I will be showing you in my next video how to add a bow and different ways to tie a bow, which I know some people probably think that's kind of easy and beginner type, but some people really don't know how to tie a good bow, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and that's really helpful, especially when you're making a wreath. So we have the wreath here, and like I said, it's so big I can't really show you the whole thing, so I'm just going to turn it around and let you see. And as you can see here, this is the hanger, so this will be the top. Okay. And I'm just showing you all the way around how there's just different textures and different colors. So there's really no rhyme or reason to what I did, just trying to make sure it looks nice. And if you want to, you can also put a whole bunch of different ribbon inside. You can put ribbon in here. You can also put in all different kinds of beads, flowers if you wanted to, all kinds of different things. So I'm really glad that you came and watched this video today, and I know it was long, but I do really appreciate you taking the time, and I try to speed it up as much as I could just so you can check out the process. I know sometimes when you have videos that are how-to videos and DIY, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing and you can actually see the person do the entire thing. And if you don't, it's a little frustrating in case you happen to make a mistake and you want to learn along with them. So that's why I made this one longer, and I really appreciate you checking this out. And be sure to check out our blog at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com and www.acjwm.com. We have some great sign language stamps, awareness ribbon stamps, including autism, breast cancer, cancer, and most of our stamp sets can be used for numerous awareness causes in our awareness sets. And we really appreciate you coming and checking us out today. And we hope that you have a fantastic day. And please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our website. We have some great products there, and I think you really enjoy them. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And again, thank you for going on a creative journey with Melissa. Have a good one. Bye-bye.